Okay, I'm gonna get finished preparing and then we'll go into these readings. I know I said I wasn't going to do a live on YouTube for some time because, you know, the connection can be a little bit touch and go. But I really want to do these, so I decided why not? I mean, it's worth giving it another try, right? So here I am. So we'll see how these new moon readings go, and you know, if it's okay, not too many problems, then perhaps I'll do more lives for other types of readings as well. So this is kind of a bit of an experiment. So we'll see how it goes. All right. So I hope everyone is doing well, despite everything that's been taking place in the world and all these transitions that we've had. So that's why I'm getting the sage out as well, because there's been a lot going on lately. And with the new moon energies coming up, we want to make sure that, you know, essentially we clear out the old cycles, clear out any lingering energies that may be present from previous cycles, and just focus on the new, focus on the positive that we can bring into our lives at this time. I feel like a lot of karma is being cleared out, you know, and a fresh slate is being given very soon, if not already. So I feel like now is a good time to really see what's going to be coming up, especially over the next week or so to 2 weeks. So let's get into it. All right. So I just want to make sure you can see very well. And yeah, you can see my incense floating up as well. But yeah, I just want to make sure you can see. So yeah, before we get into it, I may as well introduce myself. My name is Demari. Welcome to the channel. If you are new here, if you're not, then welcome back. Just to let you know, this is a new moon reading in Cancer for the earth signs, okay? So with this particular live stream, I will be going through each earth sign individually, starting with Taurus, moving on to Virgo, and then into Capricorn, all right? It will be timestamped after the fact, all right? So if you missed this live stream, that's okay, it's not a problem. You will see the timestamps in the description below. And yeah, I hope you find this useful. So you'll go into the energies that are presenting themselves at this current time, especially with the full moon coming up, new moon coming up and beyond, all right? So not just now and the full new moon, but also with the 1 or 2 weeks to follow that to see, you know, what's coming up, what's being cleansed, what's being released, what needs looking at, as well as certain emotions that may come up around this time. Because like I said, I feel like this is a big opportunity to let go and look forward. So with regards to the reading itself, I'll be using the Moonology Oracle deck to get the main energies, the 2 initial Oracle cards for this reading. And then I'll jump over to the Intuitive to get the Tarot. Okay, I know I'm doing my live stream pretty early today, but the reason for that is simply because it's got the best lighting this time of day. So I really wanted to make use of that while there's some natural light coming in and this glorious sunshine. I'm absolutely melting, so apologies if I start to look hot and sweaty, all right? All right, so let's go into the reading. So let's start off with Taurus. Taurus, what's going on with you with this new moon period that's coming up? Taurus, what's happening for you at the time of the new moon? please. Okay. So Taurus, the first card you got is the answers you need are coming, full moon in Gemini. I know it's probably looking backwards for you because of the camera, but there you go. New moon in Gemini, or full moon in Gemini, sorry. So yeah, I feel like with this, it's really talking about that there might be something that you're feeling pretty stuck on. There's something you can't really make sense of. You're like, I'm close. I feel so close to getting a sense of what it is, what's troubling me, what's bothering me, what's making me feel out of sorts, but I don't quite know exactly what it is. Maybe there's several things that have been bothering you at this time. You feel like you can't really put any of it to bed now because there's certain information that you're waiting on. Or perhaps it's a case of you know exactly what the issue is, and there's one thing in particular that's bothering you, but you don't know how to address it. You don't know what the best way is to approach this situation because you feel like there's some information that you don't currently have or you're not privy to yet. So you're waiting. You're currently in this waiting period. But I feel like you've been doing this for some time. This is not something you just started doing. It's not an energy you're starting to embody. But I feel like you've been in this waiting period for a little time. And you're kind of getting to the point now where you're like, okay, I really need to know what the score is so I know how to best proceed, right? But this is confirmation that your waiting is not in vain. The information will be brought to light, okay? In regards to whatever it is that you feel like you're putting your life on hold for, or that you feel you can't really move forward with because you don't have certain information, all right? So let's go over to the Moonology again and see what the other card is for yourself. So you have nothing will come of this situation, void, of course, Moon. So there is something, okay. So something in regards to this, whatever this circumstance is that you're waiting on or needing more information about, or perhaps not the whole thing in particular, maybe it's just some aspect of this situation that you are clinging on to because you feel like you can't make an informed decision unless you have some information, but you're being told here that it's, you can wait for an eternity, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to bring you any closer to being able to take action, right? So there may be something you feel like you need to finalize in your own mind, maybe. But the problem is that whatever you're asking about or whatever you feel confused about, some aspect of that is already done and dusted. Like I said, I felt like with this current energy that's coming up, especially with the new moon in Cancer, the second time this month, also in opposition with Saturn, it's a case of like, whatever was done is done. Like there is no going back. There is no if, buts, or maybes. Like it's final, right? The decision is final. So if you walked away from a situation or someone you're dealing with walked away from you or cut you off, or, you thought that maybe there was perhaps an opportunity to get things back on track or how things used to be in some capacity, this is telling you that that situation is done. The karmic cycle is over and it's not to be repeated because you've learned the lesson you needed to learn, or the person involved needed to learn a certain lesson. They've learned that now, right? But you need to move forward regardless. And I feel like whatever this is, these answers that you've been waiting for, they're coming. The confirmation of this is coming. So if you've been wondering whether or not a situation is done and dusted, this is part of the confirmation that, going back towards the past and digging up the past does not bring you any closer to your future, right? And it's not going to bring you any peace of mind or happiness. The situation is done, it's finished, right? So I feel like that's part of the answer that you need at this time that's coming through, this message of whatever you've released yourself from or whatever you were released from in your recent past, it's over, right? That's not something you have to worry about moving forward. You just need to keep moving forward. Okay, so I hope that helps. So let's go over to the tarot then and see what that has to say. I am using the intuitive deck, as I said earlier. So keep in mind, this is generally an intuitive reading. Yeah, but I feel like there's something wherever this is related to, this is something that that has you very tied up in your emotions. I feel this like knotting in the heart space, you know. So I feel like whatever you're asking about, it's something that weighed heavy on your heart in some way. So this could be in relation to someone that you had an intimate relationship with, or someone that you once considered like a brother or sister, a best friend, you know. Or someone you just truly, really cared about in the past. But whatever happened, it's done. You know, the situation is done, and there's no need to turn back. Okay. So, oh, 4 cards. I did not see that. I was supposed to pull 3 for you, as for all signs, but you had a sneaky card, right? Guess what was sneaking behind the Page of Wands here? You had the Devil hiding, and this is now the first card out, right? So yeah, you were not seeing this toxicity behind the situation, whether it's in relation to this person or just the situation itself, right? But this devil was hiding all along behind the Page of Wands. So whoever represents the Page of Wands could be a fire sign, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. Could be someone that you either perceive as younger than you or as is actually younger than you in age, right? Or embody a very youthful energy that's very playful, outgoing, likes to get into some mischief, perhaps got into some trouble because of that aspect of their nature, especially with the devil being present and hiding behind this energy. So perhaps their playful nature and their outgoing personality and their ability to make friends so easily hid the toxicity that they actually had, right? Certain toxic behaviors and behavioral patterns that they had, right? They were masking that with their playful, outgoing nature and being able to communicate very well and get people on side quite easily, even though, you know, there was things that they were doing maybe behind the scenes that were very detrimental to the well-being of those around it, or perhaps even to their own well-being. Okay. So I feel like there may be some things that you're coming to realize about this person that you didn't know in the past, that you didn't realize, like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize they were, you know, so toxic for me. I didn't realize they did all these things behind my back. I didn't realize, you know, that they were actually focused on this, that, and the other instead of, you know, on the connection or whatever, right? So you may have realized where perhaps you were even being manipulated by this person, you know, and you're only coming to realize that now as this download comes through or some information gets presented to you by possibly another person, you know, and you're starting to see it for what it truly is, that actually this person needs to grow up and has a lot of learning to do, you know, about the consequences of their actions. So that information is coming in. I feel like with the High Priestess card here next, you know, I think when this information is brought to your attention, either by someone telling you or you just having this realization of putting 2 and 2 together of certain things that took place in the past, you're going to keep quiet about it. You're not going to express it. You're going to keep it to yourself because you feel like what good will come from me, you know, spreading gossip or getting into an argument with this person when the situation is done and dusted. So I'm just going to hold that information to myself, just for my own knowledge, and keep that as a reason why it doesn't make any sense to go digging around in the past and, you know, trying to look for more or trying to patch things over when this person clearly doesn't have the best intentions anyway, right? That perhaps it's better if I just let the situation be and let this person go on their way and come to their own understandings on things, right? So I think you're using your intuition at this point to make the decision, right? Because once that comes into your awareness, this information, your instincts will then make the decision for you. But I feel like it won't just be an instinctive decision; it'll be guided by your intuition as well. So yeah, because you know what you want and what you don't want in your life, and whatever this person did or is about, there's something toxic here. So you don't want that in your life, pretty much, Taurus. Okay, and then the last card you got was the Four of Pentacles in reverse. So Earth energy, you know, your energy as well as Virgo and Capricorn. So this is it. I feel like you're not willing to, I feel like you see this situation as kind of burdensome, this, you've been kind of holding in all your feelings, all your emotions about this situation, how things played out, because you didn't want drama, you didn't want to cause a scene, you didn't want there to be a fuss, sorry. So you just kind of allowed things to be what they were, but it still bothered you. Of course it did. This is why this is coming up now, because it's being released. It's letting you know that you don't have to concern yourself with this anymore. You don't have to bottle up your feelings. You don't have to carry the weight of this situation on your back anymore, simply because, this person isn't who you thought they were, right? And that it's not up to you to try and heal the situation. What is up to you is to heal yourself within this, right? So yeah, Taurus, I hope that helps. If you need a confirmation about someone toxic in your life or a toxic situation, hopefully that gives you the answers, or at least an indication of the answers that are coming in. And that essentially, yes, you're being freed from this, okay? So I hope that helps. All right, so we've now done Taurus. We'll go into Virgo. So let's see what's coming up for you, Virgo, in this period. As I said, this is, an intuitive reading, so just take it if it resonates with your situation. If it doesn't, then it's probably not for you, okay? So don't take it personally if it doesn't feel like it fits to your situation. All right, Virgo. So the first card you got from the Moonology deck was a personal issue reaches resolution. Full moon in Cancer. Amazing, okay? So this is perfect for this time of year, Virgo. So I feel like whatever you've been really struggling with, I think, like, honestly, Virgo, you've had a lot to process over this, several weeks, especially in, I would say, the latter part of June till now. You've had a lot to process, a lot of shifting in your home life, in your personal life. And that's why I wasn't surprised that this came up, a personal issue reaches resolution, because I feel like, a lot of the weight has been falling on your shoulders to keep house and home, to navigate your finances, keep track of finances, sort out any documentation, a lot of things I feel like has been falling on your shoulders. So I feel like in some ways, yeah, you were really carrying the weight. And now you're being told that, okay, I know it's been a challenge, there's a lot that you've had to address all at once, but just so you know that this is coming to an end. Whatever issues you've been facing, particularly when it affects your home life, okay, that's now coming to a close, all right? So you'll be able to breathe again, and just have a lighter energy in general when you come home or when you're at home, rather than worrying about this, that, and the other, and not really having any downtime for yourself. That's coming to an end at this time. So I really like that, because I feel like not only have you had to take care of matters of the home, the family, work, everything like that, I feel like you've had your own emotional issues or emotional things just come up to the surface at this time, things possibly from the past that were being unearthed by all of these, transits that we had in terms of astrology, and also this huge vibrational shift that we're going through at this time. So it's unearthed a lot of emotions for you that you've kind of perhaps put to the background because you've been so focused on the task at hand that you didn't even have time to really think about your emotional body and the care that needs. But that's now coming to the forefront. So I feel like, when it comes to matters of a material sense, that's all being taken care of, that's being addressed, and any issues you've experienced on that level will be resolved very soon. And that will give you an opportunity to focus on your emotional well-being. All right. So let's get another card from the Moonology deck. All right. So Virgo, the card you got, I can't believe this. This is insane. You and your loved ones are safe. New moon in Cancer. So not only did you get full moon in Cancer, you got new moon in Cancer. So this is what I'm telling you, Virgo. This season, Cancer season, has been a lot for you. There's been so much, okay, going on for you. And it's really, like I said, I feel like unearthing your emotions at this time. You know, because you've been taking care of everyone else so much. And this is pretty much the confirmation that you pouring all of your time and energy into taking care of the home, taking care of the family, you know, those closest to you, making sure everything is still staying afloat. You know, your efforts are going to be rewarded, okay? All of this energy that you've put into ensuring everyone is happy, safe, you know, keeping the house afloat, taking care of your responsibilities, you're going to be rewarded for that. And the universe is trying to show you, listen, like I see how diligently you've been working through all of these challenges as well as the day-to-day stuff, right? And I just want to assure you that you are fine, okay? Your family's fine, those you care about are fine, everyone's doing good. You have nothing to worry about when it comes to the house and home. But now it's really important that you take some time to look after yourself, okay? So that's why I feel like some of these emotional matters, you know, perhaps related to things that took place in the past, even the recent past, are being brought to the surface, right? Because it's now to take care, it's time to take care of your emotional body, right? Because I think physically you're starting to feel it, you're getting weighed down and drained because you've just had so much that you've had to address by yourself, more or less. But now it's saying, listen, okay, you've got nothing to worry about. We're taking care of the rest. You need to now take care of yourself. Okay. And it's reminding you as well, with you and your loved ones are safe, it's reminding that you are being held in this process. You are being protected. You're being supported, right? While you're doing this work. So it's okay for you to be vulnerable, even just with yourself and the universe. It's okay to have moments of vulnerability and that release, okay? So it's just reminding you of that too. You are being held. The universe is holding space for you while you do that work, all right? So let's have a look in regards to the tarot. I feel like I have to take 4 cards. Initially, I was only going to pull 3, but Taurus was kind of greedy, and 4 cards came out. So I feel like it's only fair that I do 4 for each sign now. Okay. So the first card you have is the 4 of Pentacles. So it's funny because at the end of Taurus's reading, they had the 4 of Pentacles in the reverse. You guys have it in the upright to start off your reading. So yeah, you're understanding that now is the time to pull back your energy because, like I said, you poured so much of yourself into taking care of house and home, taking care of the family, taking care of, you know, the material matters, work, finances, anything that involves your stability. You've been diligently focused on that. But now it's time to really pour your energy back into yourself because your emotional body is reminding you that it needs attention, right? That's why you might see some things come to the surface, some emotions that you haven't felt for some time, right? So that's what's coming into play. It's telling you, listen, I need me as well now. So this is my time. I need a bit of time out for myself. That's not to say you're going to neglect anyone else. I don't feel like that's the case at all. But you're understanding that now's the time to really pour back into yourself so that you can feel balanced and grounded as you always do when you're operating at your best, right? So now's the time to really do that healing work and to just release any lingering emotions, right, that are not serving you. So the next card you have is the 2 of Cups in reverse, water energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. So, okay, I got this, with this, I got for a select few, you may be going through a divorce or a separation of some kind. And that's what you've been focused on. That's why your family has been so much at the forefront of your mind, because you're trying to be the glue that keeps the rest of the family together, because you and your partner are going through a separation or a divorce. And I feel like with personal issues reaches a resolution, that's telling me that, yeah, you may actually be finalizing that through a divorce and you're waiting for the papers to come through, and that's coming. So perhaps, yeah, it's been a bit of a, turbulent time for you and your family because of this separation. So you're being the glue that binds everything together. And now that you know everyone is more or less okay, you can start taking care of yourself and how you've been feeling through this process, because you've had to kind of switch your emotions off and focus on healing the family and making sure everyone else is okay. But now it's time to address how you're feeling from this separation. If that's not the case, if you're not experiencing a separation or a divorce, it could be that simply you're understanding how aspects of your emotional self has been fragmented, that you've had to kind of be the nurturing, caring, considerate, compassionate being for everyone else. But when it comes to yourself, you've put a wall up, right? So it's realizing that in order to be operating at your best level and to be the best version of yourself, you need to be able to give that same care, consideration, and support to yourself, right? That same self, that love that you have also has to go into the self. So you may be realizing where you've been neglecting that in order to take care of your responsibilities, right? So in regards to the next card, you have the Knight of Pentacles here. So this is your energy as well, as well as Taurus and Capricorn. So with, the Knight of Pentacles being very present here near the center of the reading, I feel like it's a process. It's not a race. It's going to take time, especially, like I said, when there's been a significant shift in your home life, such as, say, if there was a separation or a divorce or something of that nature. It's not a smooth sailing process. It's rebuilding stability takes time, but you're doing the work. You've worked so hard, and now it's like the universe is trying to show you in little ways that, the work wasn't for naught and that your efforts haven't gone unnoticed, right? So I feel like you will see little confirmations of that. And I think even though the road is long and that you have had to deal with certain challenges, I feel like some aspects of this is going to start getting lighter. That's what I honestly feel. And if it is, like I said, if it isn't a divorce or a separation, I feel like, it's a case of that you are slowly coming to understand the need to build yourself up to understand that, as much as you're mothering or fathering and being a supportive figure to those you hold closest into your life, regardless of whether or not you have kids, could be friends, family members, you also need that yourself. So you're slowly coming to that realization and understanding that, yeah, it's worth putting some time aside each day just to check in with yourself, right? And then finally, the last card you have, Virgo, is the King of Cups in reverse. So water energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. You've got strong Cancer, okay, in your reading with the Moonology deck, and then with this finalizing and this in the center. So you could very well be dealing with a Cancer, right, with regards to a possible separation, or you could have it in your chart, or this can just be simply for the fact that we are in Cancer season. So with this being here, I feel like with the King of Cups being in reverse, it's like, yeah, you need to come to understand that being able to show yourself love isn't selfish, right? That you don't have to be like this fortress all the time just to be keeping everything, in order, right? That it's okay to show vulnerability. And I feel like that's what you're struggling with. You feel like if you show any vulnerability in this situation, it is weakness, right? But that's not the case. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's important to be vulnerable and to know that you can be, because that will help with you releasing any pent up emotions you've had around the situation, or, the environment that you've been navigating, the challenges you've been navigating in whatever form they take. So, you need to kind of really balance, I feel like really focus on the divine masculine aspect of yourself, because it's struggling to feel like it's okay to be vulnerable, right? That vulnerability is a sign of weakness, not strength. And that's the association that needs to be changed, right? So I hope this helps anyway, Virgo. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And yeah, just know that you're doing awesome, okay? If this resonates with you, you're doing incredibly well, all right? So don't give yourself a hard time, but just allow yourself to check in with yourself, see how you're feeling, release any emotions that need to be released, and, you know, just keep doing your thing. So sending you lots of love in that process. All right. So let's now finalize our last sign reading. Hi, Marco. And this will be for the sign of Capricorn. So Capricorn, what's going on with you over the new moon period? And as I said, guys, if you are watching this now and you feel like you've missed your sign, if you're an earth sign, I will be timestamping them, right? Straight after the stream. So don't worry about that. And you can also rewind as well. So do not worry. The information will be there. All right, so Capricorn, what's going on with you guys? Oh, that was a bit loud. Sorry, guys. Work through your fears. New moon in Scorpio. All right, I don't know if you can see that well. I know it's back to front because of the camera, but still. New moon in Scorpio. Work through your fears. Yeah, there's something that's holding you back for sure. Can't say what that fear would be at this moment, but there's something that's holding you back. There's something that you're finding hard to nip in the bud. I don't know why that comes up, but that's what came up. You're finding it hard. Yeah, you're finding it difficult to nip something in the bud, something that you kind of know that isn't in your best interest, but it's kind of like a habitual thought process that you have, you know, that's very much tied into your fears, your shadow aspects. So you may need to check out your shadow work reading that I did for you a couple of weeks back, because that might be relevant to whatever this fear is that you have, Capricorn. But yeah, there's something that you are, I feel like there's something shrouded in shadow that you know that you do, but you're turning a blind eye towards because you don't want to address it head on. So something that's like a habit, it's a reoccurring pattern, something that you keep repeating that you know isn't good for you, but you just, you know, you don't want to face it because you're afraid to face it head on. There's something about that. I don't know, we'll see when we move on. But there's something you don't want to look at. You keep doing it anyway. You know, it's we'll have to see what that could be, or what in the hell that could be in relation to, because that's quite vague. I know. Wow. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like I literally just did Virgo's reading, and they had new moon in Cancer, full moon in Cancer, right? From the Moonology. You have new moon in Scorpio and full moon in Scorpio. What is going on with you guys? So it's time to release negativity, full moon in Scorpio. So this is what I'm talking about, this mirroring, right? So there is something that you're kind of doing and don't want to do, but you don't want to address at the same time, and you don't want to change. So it's like, yeah, I feel like it's a behavioral or a thought process, like a behavioral pattern or a thought process that you developed many years ago, probably when you were either a child or when you was a teenager. But even though it doesn't serve you, even though it kind of brings out certain tendencies that may be stemmed or affiliated with hedonism or things of that sort of nature, it's masking a deeper issue, right? It's masking a deeper problem, something that you're very much fearful of. And this is a means of just kind of compensating for that fear, for that, that skeleton in the closet, whatever it is that triggered this kind of response, triggered these thought processes as a means of coping with whatever happened, okay? So I don't want to get too deep into this because I wasn't planning to get this, for this kind of reading to be quite deep on that level. But whatever comes up, comes up. And whatever needs to be shared or messages relayed, then that's what needs to happen, because it's for your benefit, for whoever this, relates to. So we'll see. But yeah, there's something that's shrouded in a lot of fear that's been forced into the shadow. And I feel like your coping mechanism for it has not been the healthiest. And it doesn't actually bring you fulfillment. It brings a lot of sadness, but it's just something that you do to try and mask this thing, whatever it is. Yeah, so we'll see. I feel like this is something to do with your parents. Yeah. With these cards that are coming up, I feel like this is something to do with your parents. Some kind of disappointment or some trauma. I don't know. Like I said, I really don't want to go too heavy into it because it wasn't supposed to be that kind of reading, this particular one. But I feel like this is coming up for a reason for you, for whoever this is for, because you are releasing it. You are releasing it, saying it's a time to release negativity. You're releasing this trauma, this pain, or this disappointment. Okay. So the first card you have is the King of Wands in reverse. So fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Could be a father figure that was embodying this energy or had any of these placements strongly in their natal chart. But regardless, I feel like this is very much like a paternal figure, could be a grandparent, even an uncle, someone of that nature. Someone who you consider to be a main guardian. It could even be a feminine aspect, but they just embodied this kind of energy, or their divine aspects, their divine masculine aspect embodied this energy. But regardless, I feel like this was someone who was really just temperamental. They were just really aggressive, perhaps very violent in some cases. Someone that was just unhinged, wasn't confident. Perhaps they were just very insecure, and they would mask it with this aggression, and this lack of willing to talk, willing to listen, just throwing their weight around, that kind of energy, like very toxic. And I feel like, growing up, seeing that kind of energy and being around it was very heavy. It was very hard to navigate, normal life, day-to-day life, and all the things that come up with growing up. That would have been very difficult when you're having to contend with this kind of energy on a day-to-day basis. So I don't doubt that some of your fear, you might even have you might experience significant anxiety as a result of this parental guardian type person who embodied that kind of energy, and as a result, you developed anxiety because of that energy that they emitted and the way they carried themselves and how they treated you and others, right? So the next card you have is the Queen of Swords in reverse. So air energy, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius could be relevant as well. And bearing in mind, you could have these signs, but I feel like this could be someone else that you were, that was prominently in your life growing up, right? So it could be a mother, could be an aunt, could be a grandparent, could be a sister, even an older sister. But I feel like whoever this person is, they were very, they didn't really learn from their experiences, even though they knew the situation was troubling, that there was a lot of toxicity in the situation, that whoever this King of Wands in reverse was absolutely detrimental to the happiness of the home. I feel like this person was toxic in a very different way. They were very much avoidant. They didn't deal with any of the situation head on. They just simply would just disappear. Either they would physically disappear from the household and be gone for some time, or they would literally just be emotionally switched off. They would literally act like they're not even conscious in their body. They'll just be like, no one's home, And I feel like maybe that was part of their protection, them protecting themselves, but at the cost of, allowing the misery to continue. And obviously you having to deal with a lot of this energy, a lot of this turmoil in the household. So obviously you suffered as a result of them avoiding the situation. Perhaps they were in denial. Perhaps they were enabling this person as well out of fear of their own. And I feel like you just seeing so much fear growing up. You started to embody so much of that and encompass so much of that in your shadow that, that became part of your normal reactionary process to things, that there was always an element of anxiety when it came to dealing with confrontation or issues, or just, situations, with other people. If there was any sign of disagreement or hostility or not being in agreement, it would trigger, certain reactions within you that might be very fiery, or perhaps you would go very quiet, you get very introverted, or you'd get very anxious, so it can manifest in various different ways. But I feel like it's being brought to your attention where this stems from, because perhaps it's got to a point now where it's really affecting your interpersonal relationships, right? Because you're seeing how this has created ridges between you and people that genuinely do care for you, right? So perhaps that's why this is coming through. So now the next card you have is the Magician in reverse. So, yeah, I mean, this is really talking of, this is not something that you asked for. This is not a situation that you created. You are not responsible for what they did or how they were in the past, but it's up to you to change where you stand now, right? It's like only you can do the work to heal yourself. Only you can do the work to overcome, these learned behaviors, these reactionary responses, to not let your past, determine your present and future, right? To break these behavioral patterns, your coping mechanisms that are otherwise detrimental for you, in order to free yourself from the past, right? Because that is also a necessary part of forgiveness. If you choose to forgive these people, that helps free you from the past. But part of that is also, understanding that I can't change what happened, but I can certainly change what I do now and how I am, who I choose to be, right? So that's the other aspect of it. It's not just about, understanding that it is what it is and releasing it, but it's also understanding that you can change where you go from here and how you respond to things. It's an ongoing work in progress. Of course, it takes a long time. It's a lifelong process, really, to be honest with you. Deep healing on that level, but you can see significant changes, right, year after year. So it's worth putting the work in. You're worth it. That's what you need to realize as well. For whoever this is for, you need to understand first and foremost that you are worth putting that work in for yourself. You are worth it. That's the first thing you need to come to understand. You are worth putting the work in to get yourself where you want to be and out of this fear mindset, right? Because that's blocking you from being able to also manifest significant changes. Manifestation doesn't just come from having some mantras and affirmations and all the rest of it. It comes from being in the energy and of the vibration of that in which you're trying to attract. And you cannot be in that energy if you are absolutely locked into a fear state, right? So that's what's being released at this time. That's why it's coming up, because this karmic cycle, is this karmic chain that you've had on you, is being destroyed. So you have to do your part to free yourself from this. All right. And then lastly, the last card you have is the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So this is Earth energy, okay, your energy, as well as Taurus and Virgo. So with the Five of Pentacles being in reverse, it's like, yeah, this is it. You probably felt for a long time that you were not deserving, right, of this opportunity to free yourself from whatever the situation was. Perhaps you thought that maybe this ill treatment of you, or this situation that you found yourself in growing up, was because there was something wrong with you, something you did wrong, and you wasn't deserving of anything more, right? I feel like there's a lack of self-worth involved in this. But there is you coming to the realization that that's not the case, all right? That they were not able to live up to their roles as your guardians. That's what it comes down to. They were not of the right mindset, the right energy. They hadn't done the necessary work. And unfortunately, you paid the price for that, but that doesn't need to continue. That can be shut down today, from today, by you choosing to release yourself from that, understand that it cannot be changed and accept that. and freeing yourself from it, releasing it, and focusing on where you want to be, where you're going, how you feel, you know, what it is that you want to do, where you want to be, who you want to be, right? How to get yourself back in alignment with your true energy and not with the, you know, learned behaviors of these people, right? So yeah, I know that was a bit heavy, Capricorn, and I honestly, I'm sorry, I wasn't planning for this one to get so heavy, but that's what came up and that's what needed to be discussed, you know. So I hope that helps you anyway. And just like I said, understand that you are in control of where your story goes from here. You can't change the past. You can certainly change what you do now, right? And that you don't have to be a product of your environment because you are worth so much more than that. Okay. You are so much more than that. You just have to realize it. So I'm sending you so much love in this process, okay, and in this journey. I know it's not easy, believe me, I know. But just remember, you are worth the work, okay? So to everyone who's been watching these live videos, these live readings, thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. I hope you found them useful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you like seeing the lives, if you like seeing me and the cards here, let me know because I'm always playing around the layout to see what you guys prefer. So your feedback is always welcome and appreciated. But yeah, I will be moving on to which sign am I doing next? Let me just check because I know that some of you guys like to check your other placements also. Yeah, air signs. Okay, so I'll be doing the air signs live stream in probably about 10 minutes. Then water and fire will come tomorrow. So if you're seeking your fire and water placements, they're coming tomorrow. Probably around the same time. But yeah, I'll be doing the earth air signs shortly. All right. So sending you lots of love. Thanks for tuning in. And I will speak to you guys soon. Bye.